Hello, my friends. This is part 3 of Mar Afuera stream, and The Sea Beyond is the TV show that you can watch on Atrus Media, but if you don't have access to that streaming service, you can just listen to me and I can just, uh, explain you the main points and events of this TV show. So let's talk about what we stopped last stream and some remarks I want to make about Marina character. For example, I told that she lost her child, but it wasn't really miscarriage. She didn't lose it. And currently her baby, her child, is adopted, and there is a family that adopted the baby after she gave birth to the baby. So she's still not sure if she can basically reunite with the child, but she still feels guilt for that happened, and basically everybody is trying to use this, specifically Vleta character is trying to use this to put Marina and Sari apart. She is trying to make them apart and to become friends with Marina and to get Sari out of the picture, basically. And she is succeeding perfectly on this field. At the same time, the main character, the main person who is in charge of this place, which is juvenile detention center, Paula, she didn't sanction the Carlos's day off, but basically he managed to, get out of this place to see his girlfriend in a hospital. And this man basically helped him. And that caused Paula just freaking out about what happened, because she didn't basically authorize that, and now she is feeling that something is just out of control. And basically Carlos is still due to kill that man, because he was basically asked to choose between his girlfriend outside and this man who is helping him. And later on, it turns out that this man basically was helping him. But we already know that he is helping him, but he did something wrong 20 years ago, and that shit basically caused some troubles for this gang, Los Pajaritos, that what they call themselves. And basically they seeking a retaliation on that man, and they using Carlos as the leverage, and they want to use him to basically kill that man, Mario. And Mario is basically not aware of what's happening, and he's just, completely unaware of, the plot that bad guys, plotting against him. And at the same time, Violeta is managing to become friends with Marina and putting all her efforts into splitting Marina and Sari, to the point that basically she made it look like Sari basically betrayed Marina, and that Marina basically kept her secret till Sari basically revealed to everyone her secret about her child, and that she tried to kill it. But it wasn't really Sari. We know that Violeta herself basically revealed all the secrets. And later on, it turns out that Violeta is the most ruthless character in this TV show. She is basically seeking revenge, and she is seeking to ruin everybody's life. But I'm not sure for what reason. And we didn't get a lot of her storyline, but she is still having some type of hard time to explain why she's doing this, because not only did she ruin Sari and Marina's friendship, but she did this to one of her classmates and her inmate, let's say, because they are studying in this detention center. They don't only serve their time, but they study, they do a lot of activities. And on one of those classes, she stole a backpack of one of her classmates, and basically she basically made it seem as she's going to help her to find that backpack. She's going to help her, and she actually found that backpack, but she was the one who stole it. And she made it look like she is helping her, but I was really surprised when I found out what actually is going on with this situation, because later on it turns out that she is going to ruin this classmate for no reason, basically, or for the reason we never understand, because even if she is doing that for her own purpose, for her own reasons, for some type of trauma she experienced basically in her childhood, she chose this innocent person who is just barely, interacting with nobody. She is actually the most chill person in this detention center. But Susanna, her name Susanna, she is going to be the victim of Violeta's actions, and her actions towards Susanna could not be justified, I guess, because she could have chosen someone who really deserves this, but she chosen this woman. And she basically came up to Susanna with suggestion that basically if you like something, you can do that. If you like some man, if you like someone from this detention center, I can arrange you some meeting. I can make you just more confident. I can basically match you with that man if you like him. So she basically put some faith into Susanna, but later she actually betrayed her so bad. But who actually never betrayed nobody is Sari, and she's still trying to prove that. And the other storyline that is simultaneously unfolding with this man and the doctor within this facility, and the doctor of this detention center is kind of in love or is trying basically to hit on this man, but he made first step and she made it clear that she's open, so they are kind of getting their moment as well. At the same time, Carlos found out that his brother basically joined Los Pajaritos gang. So that means that his brother basically betrayed him, and now like his brother made him give up on his girlfriend, or Carlos would basically lose her. So everybody is betraying everybody in this TV show. But Álvaro is still getting away with him betraying the main villain of this TV show, who is basically in charge of the gang Los Pajaritos within this facility, at least. Not outside, but in this detention center, he is the main villain, and he is basically not aware of that betrayal of Álvaro. And he is even seeing Álvaro now as a part of this gang and as brother by blood. You know, they all like consider each other a brother by blood. But this is not what's actually going on. They are just trying to, you know, make everyone just, you know, feel that connection to the gang, to each other. But the connection that is already lost, and there is no chance that they can be friends again. That happens between Vleta, Sari, and Marina, and Vleta basically got what she wanted. She made this friendship basically, she made this friendship between Sari and Marina stop, and she doing everything to make another classmate and particularly Susanna. She made her look like she was sending photos to other classmates, and she created even a fake account or something, and she used that basically to make Susanna look like she is chatting with other guys she likes, but she never really texted nobody. So basically Vleta put an innocent woman, she basically threw her under a bus, but for no reason, basically, because there was no rivalry between them and nobody gave her any reason to make this shit. But what I understand about Vleta character, she is the type of character who is so manipulative, and even compared to La Zorda from an Alvaro TV show, who wasn't really that manipulative, but she was kind of not liking when somebody giving her orders. And she even told that in Alvaro, La Zorda told that her main, like, you know, problem is when somebody ordering her around. She doesn't like somebody, she doesn't like having a boss or something. So Vleta is similar to this character, and she is encouraging Susanna to basically become more straightforward and basically to, you know, change her behavior towards guys, towards everything. And basically she encouraged Susanna actually took everything seriously, and she basically believed that. But Vleta wasn't really transparent, and of course she wasn't genuine when she was talking to Susanna. Basically, she made her do something that she will regret afterward. At the same time, Alvaro and his sister, they reunited because Alvaro got a day off this prison or detention center, whatever. He reunited with his family, but the only person who is actually supporting him from his family is his sister, not his mother. And his mother is the opposite. She sees the, like, Álvaro being detained is somehow, justified by his actions, even though he didn't do that. She believes that she kind of seeing this as justice, even though it's her own son. She's not trying to basically prove the opposite. She's trying basically to make it look like he deserves to be jailed. And he feels that basically. And Vleta basically putting another game with Marina. She basically making it as she has some, she has something to offer Marina. Specifically, she can connect Marina and her child, and she can make it by using her lawyer or something. And currently, Marina's child with his adoptive family, and adopted by that family, the child basically is never like supposed to be close to Marina, because Marina tried to basically kill that child, but she didn't manage. So basically they saved that child, and after that Marina never seen him again. As far as I understand, she was basically separated from her child, and there is no chance she can see him. So this game Vleta putting is to make it clear that they are friends now and that she is willing to help her. A lot of twists and a lot of storylines unfolding simultaneously, and Sari got out of that detention center. I'm not sure if she basically escaped being caught, or if she really just got that, illegally, or she just ran away from that place. But it doesn't really matter, because the reason why she did that, she wanted just to meet Álvaro outside of the juvenile center. And to meet him outside, basically, she managed to get out of that place. But Carlos is still he is forced to choose between his girlfriend and killing this man, Mario. So if he doesn't kill him, he will lose his girlfriend, and there is a choice, and he is of course not going to kill nobody, but to protect his girlfriend, he needs to do something, either escape this place himself or to make her flee to another country. And there is like actually what's happening is him telling his girlfriend that she needs to get out of this place and she needs to go somewhere safe. He managed basically to make her believe that she is in danger and that gang Los Pajaritos is after her and that he is not able to protect her. But at the same time, Vleta is still playing her games and she is using basically everybody to her advantage. She is using even the most considered the most dangerous people within this detention center, and she is using this guy to make him do what she wants basically, and having no feelings for nobody, she is trying to use everybody to her advantage, and either to get something or to make someone hurt, to kill someone, or basically to put people against each other. So she is using everything in her disposal, and there are not so much when you just locked up in that type of place, but she is using everything possible. And this is why her character is basically one of the most interesting characters, because she is that type of, person who is by herself, but at the same time, she seems to be friendly with everybody, and she is playing everybody to her advantage. But at the same time, at some point, of course, she will basically regret it, and she will basically pay back. But when it comes to plot and how she is developing her character, basically she's the only person who is creating that dark vibe in this TV show. All other bad guys, gangs, they are mostly like puppets, and they do not really seem any dangerous. They only do act like they are dangerous, but they actually just not making that vibe. They basically look like your schoolmates, your bully schoolmates who is barely dangerous but pretending to be dangerous. But she is actually dangerous. That's what I'm talking about. She is not completely crazy, but she's going after someone, and she is going to make it sure that that person will lose everything. If she wants make that person lose, she will do that. And sometimes it's completely innocent person who will suffer from her, but the character is still interesting, and this is the main point. And for example, Álvaro, the main character, played by Gabriel Guevara, is less of a complex and interesting character than Vleta, who is considered supportive character. And this is due to lack of basically not only emotions, because he is somehow trying to play differently this time, and this TV show giving him opportunity to show his acting in different way. But the lack of, situations when he could basically express him better, when he could have, showed his peak acting. There is just a lack of situations when he could have played something in completely different way. It's like he is trying to make this character look different from his My Fault, Your Fault movies, but he is just not so far from that character. He is different, but not so far, And every time he is resembling me, that character, because of the lack of different context to make it look completely different, And this is not bad, but this is still something to, this is yet to see if he is able to make it really different from those characters. Nick from My Fault and so on. And Susanna is the supportive character, as I told you, and one of the victims of Vleta. And Vleta is the most ruthless and brutal character, as I already understood. She is not giving shit about anybody when it comes to her intentions. For example, she made this woman Susanna look like Susanna was sending photos to her classmates and basically put her on this spot when Susanna left out as the person who was, who was basically bullied by everyone because of these photos and everything. She felt like she did something wrong. And Susanna basically is going to do something that I never expected, actually, from this TV show. But I'm not sure why Vleta would do something like this to the innocent person, because her intentions, they are so blurred. Like, she is trying to make friends. She is trying to seem like she is going to be more influent at some point. She wanna be more bossy and she wanna make everybody do something for her. But why would she do that to this woman? I never understood that. And this woman, Susanna, basically was the most innocent person to make something like this, but she did what she did. And after this situation, Susanna basically killed herself. And that was the worst scenario, basically, for that woman, because Vleta was trying to explain to her that there is a way out of this situation. And even someone got those photos of your appearance, even you didn't send those photos, it doesn't matter, because you just locked up in the fucking detention center for some years, and this is the worst thing, not your photos being leaked. And this is so cringe, because she killed herself because of those photos, but at the same time she locked up in the fucking detention center, and she is still not killing herself because of being locked up, but she is killing herself because of some stupid photos and some stupid guys just laughing at those photos. So the reason to make this to yourself will be never justified or rationalized to stop your life like this. You will never have a real reason to make it. But when it comes to stupid photos, it's even worse. It even looks like the wrong idea put by someone into your head, and the person who put that idea into her head was Vleta somehow, because she triggered everybody by sending those photos to make Susanna feel that shame. And I'm completely against Vleta at that point. And if she proves otherwise, I will rethink, but currently I really hate her. And on the other hand, Sari, basically, she is outside of the detention center trying to reunite with Alvaro outside. And she came to this hotel basically because she knows exactly where Alvaro is, and she was trying to get some space with Alvaro and some privacy together, the two of them. But she found out that this woman basically was waiting for Alvaro because he called her and he's waiting her to come up to his room basically. And she basically introduced herself as his girlfriend. And that pissed off Sari because she thought that they were exclusive, or at least that Alvaro would tell her if he had someone. And he was kind of surprised when she knocked on the door, but I would only imagine who wouldn't dream of knocking on Gabriel Guevara's door. But it was kind of random and a little bit rushed to make this scene, because why would he just let her in? Why would he let her enter this room, since he is fully aware of Sarai's feeling and he is fully aware of how she would, receive this, because this action is kind of cheating. So while she is like outside waiting for him, he is with another woman who is later on turns out to be a prostitute. So basically, Alvaro's friends from detention center they are basically sending this woman to Alvaro as a gift, as a gesture of loyalty. And this is so cringe because they do not even, afford a woman like this themselves within the detention center, but they are willing to send someone to a guy who is just joined their gang. He didn't even join it. He didn't even join that because he is still playing them. And Alvaro makes it look like he is loyal to that gang, but he is just doing whatever it takes to get them out of his shoulders. But at the same time, they are already making this huge gesture to prove their loyalty to Alvaro, because he is dealing drugs and he is working directly for those guys within detention center, and he is selling all those pills to make profit for those bad guys. And basically it could potentially make them a lot of monies, but I don't think so, because in that detention center, not a lot of people have money to pay for any type of drugs. And how could you barely make, any money to deserve something like this? Like this big gesture, but he did it somehow. And Sari felt like this is a huge betrayal, and she basically left that hotel and got into Laura's car, and Laura basically taking Sari to Laura's place, because Sari is just now outside alone. And we know that Sari's mother is even worse. She is a drunk and she is crazy. So Sari found Laura is the best option to stay at your place rather than at your mother's place. And that happened actually after Sari broke a windshield of Laura's car. And we remember that Sari did that because Laura wasn't willing to keep Sari in this detention center. Once Sari's time ends, she would forced to leave that detention center. So she pissed off about that, but later on it turns out that she stayed, and Laura basically made it sure that Sari would stay in the detention center. So she has broken her windshield for no reason, but they basically moved on from this situation so quick. And they're not like friends, but Laura's car basically played a lot of parts in this TV show and took a lot of people to different places that played a huge role in this TV show. Overall, this TV show basically focused on detention center, of course, but some people really manage to escape this detention center because the lack of security and lack of basically guards and personal protection. I would say like nobody in this detention center, which is juvenile detention center, it's not a prison. Nobody in this detention center has access to outside or like contacts to get outside easily. But they still manage to get out of this place. And for example, Álvaro's character was the first one who actually used the day off like to his advantage, and he basically took everything that night from that gift from Las Pajaritas gang to reunion with his family. But he spent that night with another woman, not with Sari, and now Sari is basically losing the last and the only friend she has in this detention center because of Álvaro's actions and Vleta's actions, and since Vleta made it sure that Marina is not friends with Sari anymore, Álvaro made it sure that she wouldn't be friends with him either, because why would she do that? Since he's spending nights with another woman. At least she sees this as a cheating, as something not acceptable. You know, even if it was a gift from another guy, and even if it was a prostitute, it doesn't matter, it's still cheating. And she sees that as a betrayal. So she basically made it clear that she's not willing to stay with Álvaro, and she's moving on from this. But it will not last too long, and she will basically come back, as we know. At the same time, we have this storyline between a doctor and one of the, convicts. And she is falling for all the shit he's doing, flirting, writing some love letters, making some gestures, and she's falling for this shit. And there is nothing wrong with it, but the age gap is just huge between them. So I guess that shit will have some trouble, that shit basically will potentially ruin either her career or his life. There is two options. And Vleta is still trying to make this friendship between Marina and her exclusive and not open to Sari to come back no more. And I'm not sure why. She's like so after this idea that she's the only person who can be friends with her. And because I'm still on episode 6 and moving to episode 7, I'm not sure if she is going to explain herself. But since every episode dedicated to a specific character, I'm pretty sure that we will have a whole episode explaining Vleta and her past and what she came from. And I guess that she came from some kind of violent or poor environment. Maybe her actions seem to be this way because she is just not healed from the trauma, Maybe it's this, but maybe it's not. But she is making everybody suffer right now. And she started with that woman Susanna, and she is still making Sari feel that loneliness, because now nobody actually with Sari, but Vleta basically has everything and using everybody, and she is still getting away with all this shit, But who couldn't get away with any shit is this person, Alex. And he was basically put to be responsible for what happened to the deal between Las Polleritas gang and Álvaro. When Álvaro is supposed to deliver some drugs outside or to make that deal complete, to make that deal basically closed, he was supposed to deliver some drugs or some goods from outside to this detention center, but Álvaro basically betrayed the deal, and together with Carlos, they put all the blame on Alex, who was actually innocent. And they basically transferred some money to Alex's account to make it look like Alex received money because he made a deal with third party and he betrayed this dude, and he basically sold their friendship, and he even appeared with some money, and they really they basically suspected him that he is the one who betrayed them, because now he is with money and he is the first person who is just so close to this guy. But Álvaro basically managed to get away with this shit and putting all the blame on that guy Alex. And later Álvaro will regret it, because by putting that blame on an innocent person, they made it another innocent person after Susanna basically killed herself. That was one innocent person, and Alex would be second innocent person who kills himself because of someone just puts all blame on an innocent person, and that would make that person feel like worthless and undervalued. And within this detention center, multiple events happened when innocent people suffered from other people who basically tried to protect themselves, and putting blame on other people seems to be always causing some fatal consequences to those persons they put blame on. And that will teach basically a lot of people, a lot of characters from this TV show, and basically the character Alex came from the same environment as his current gang he is a part of, and he basically saved this dude's life, and after that situation they became huge friends. They became like brothers by blood, and they actually got into huge fights after this dude found out that basically Alex betrayed him. But what actually happened, we already know that Alex basically was put on that spot, and he basically was betrayed himself. And Carlos and Álvaro basically were responsible for what happened to Alex, and they are the only persons to blame actually, because they acted selfish and they only tried to protect themselves, but they made an innocent person feel that guilt and feel worthless. And by doing that to that person, they basically made him kill himself. So that's what happened in Mar Afuera TV show episode 5, 6. And we still have 2 episodes left. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, but next 2 episodes, they are going to reveal everything we have. And we have still some questions to be answered about some characters. I'm not sure what will happen to this character, since she is a doctor and making out with one of the convicts who is basically a teenager. I'm not sure still what will happen to Álvaro, since everybody knows that he betrayed Los Pajaritos gang, and basically he made that deal never happen. And I'm not still sure what will happen to Vleta character, because she is still managing to get away with everything, but she already caused one person to die. And while Alvaro and Carlos didn't do that on purpose, they didn't do that to make him kill himself. Vleta seems to be more ruthless, and knowing all the consequences, she is still, keeping everything that way. She is still playing everybody, and her character is still not learning from her actions and all the consequences. So thank you for watching, and that was Mar Afuera episode 5, 6. See you next time with another episodes, and probably we will have another TV show, because recently I found a new season of something. So you will see what it is, but I'm still trying to figure out if it's worth make a video about it or not. But sometimes you never know what worth to put efforts in or not, because only after you did put efforts into something you would understand how good feedback is. And sometimes you never expect some videos to make that feedback, and you would actually be surprised when you see something you expected least to make the best feedback. So this is what I found about some TV shows. So you would never, you would never really understand how it works, since YouTube actually pushes the type of content that people like at the moment. And this is why I giving chance to every possible TV show. I'm giving really another shot to a TV show that I would think that I would never, consider even to watch. But I understood that you will need at some point to become more flexible and to make content diverse, to make diverse choice, and this is the only way to find out what people actually like at the moment, because I thought that the prison theme, the prison TV shows, they are so popular right now. And this is what I understood from the feedback from my recent video. So if you think that prison TV shows, they are really popular right now, and if you're really interested in those type of TV shows, let me know, please. Because one person left a singular comment on my recent video, on my last video, and that video was uploaded twice, and that person basically commented on the first version of that video, and by doing that, that person helped me understand what I need to what I need to improve and what I need to change. And I did change that, and that video became the most popular video from all this short type of content on my channel. So this is why your feedback is so important, and I'm really, I'm really open to any negative or criticizing type of comments, because all type of comments, if they are not hating, they are helping me understand how navigate this, this whole channel, and how to basically to avoid putting efforts into something that will never pay back, that will never pay off. So please let me know if you think something about this TV show specifically, or if you have some ideas, if you have some TV shows you want to see me talking about, or if you want some videos, like short videos about specific TV shows. I need that feedback from you, because I would never, make that change if that person didn't comment and didn't point it out what I need to change. So I need from you that feedback, and I need from you just talking straight exactly what you want and exactly what you see and your vision of content related to TV shows and movies. Maybe you have some ideas, I don't. So see you later. Thank you for watching this video, and see you next time with more content. Thank you. Goodbye.